to you, and welcome to another live edition, Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy, with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pash Road. Beautiful day outside, and it is the first Monday of the month, so it is Open Line Monday, which means anything you want to talk about regarding your health, you're welcome to call 896-0713, 800-349-0713. You have a question for the doctors regarding anything health-wise, whether you want to ask them personally or if you want to just pass the question along to our operator, and they will pass the question along to us. So being Open Line Monday, we'll talk about, like we said, just about anything having to deal with your health situations. And y'all had something new.
Yeah, actually it's in the news.
In the news?
Yeah, drum roll. Okay, this is something that, and we see this a lot in the folks that come in. It's the kids that are being put on the drugs for ADD and ADHD. And this was done by and published out of the American Academy of Orthopedic Surgeons. So this is not some fly-by-night, group that says, oh, these things are bad.
And it's not just a nutrition group saying,
right.
oh, you shouldn't do this or you shouldn't do this.
This
it's actually
is,
the orthopedic surgeons
right.
that started researching and looking into what the attention deficit medications are doing to kids' bones.
Right.
Because they're seeing problems in kids that are on this medication.
And it's something like, they did a study and they picked out like 5,300 kids that are on these drugs. 25%, now we're talking about kids, teens. Kids that are 25% of them met the criteria for osteopenia. Now that's something you think of, okay, when you're 60 or above, you might get osteopenia.
Really, yeah.
We're talking about kids. And what's really, they didn't go into in this particular study, they didn't talk about it here, but the majority of our bone building is done when we're in our teen years. Mm-hmm. So if you take teens, put them on these drugs, that can actually cause osteopenia at a young age, then by the time they get 35, 40, they're going to have osteoporosis.
Right. They did talk about that in the study.
They talked about that.
They did talk about how osteopenia when you're a kid does lead to osteoporosis. And you're not just talking about girls, you're talking about the boys too. And what about if these kids play sports?
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
And they have osteopenia to start with. So it is something to think about it. And I mean, we just thought that was interesting because they keep finding out. Yes, there's quick fixes sometimes to things. Okay, take this medicine, it's a quick fix. But there's also things you're going to cause a problem with.
Speaking of quick fixes, there was actually a video that was running around on Facebook over the weekend about how our parents dealt, my parents and grandparents dealt with ADHD a long time ago. And it shows somebody walking out in the yard, breaking off the switch,
yes,
and walking back in the house with it. So I think
Well, there's no doubt that
that's the country boy in me.
I agree. Well, we used to get told, okay, go get me a switch about this long, and it has to be so and so. So you had to go get your own punishment. That really, by the time you got back with it, it was over. You knew it. But one of the things that comes out, and they didn't talk about in this particular study, but there's been so much other research about this, about what causes ADD and the hyperactivity. It's the diet, the increased amounts of sugars.
Oh, yes.
And there's like 60 names for sugar. So when you pick up a container and read the label, they're hiding the sugar in there. They call it, there's 60 different names that they've got for it. So we're looking at an increased amount of sugar intake for these kids. And feed any kid, a Snickers bar or something, watch them bounce off the wall. They just got energy galore. Mm-hmm. And so if you do that, if you feed them this stuff, send them to school, put them in a chair, they're going to be bouncing out of that chair. That's just all there is to it.
And like I said, it's just the sugar and the processed packaged foods. They're not getting the nutrients either, because we have been doing more and more lab work on kids. And unfortunately, what we're seeing is a lot of them vitamin D deficiencies, B12 deficiencies. Actually, we're seeing high triglycerides in almost all of them, and we're seeing prediabetes in teenagers. So a lot of the people we're checking, even if they're not overweight, it doesn't even have to be the overweight kids. It can just be normal sized kids, but they're eating the American diet, which the American diet is not good for brain function.
Yeah.
It's not
and
good
another
for
thing
much,
that's very lacking in the American diet, and they know this over and over both for kids and adults, is omega-3s. And so that's one of the things we like to use for attention deficit is use omega-3s because it's used for the brain.
Feed the brain.
You got to make them.
That's the fish oil.
Yeah. Some of the kids
we
don't
got
have
seafood all over the place down here.
Yeah.
But they don't eat it.
But they don't eat it.
They don't eat enough.
And the vitamin D thing, they're too busy sitting in the house, sitting there with a
Nintendo or whatever.
So there
Nintendo or
are
PlayStation, all
natural
that.
things you can do for attention deficit. There really, and it might not work in one day. That's one of the things, like I said, the quick fix is because, okay, it's not going to be something that you do, and then the next day, you just sit still and don't move.
What was interesting, the lead researcher on this came out of the U.S. Army Institute for Surgery Research. The Army's thinking about this because, think about this, if you've got the majority, there's something like 6.4 million children diagnosed with ADHD in the United States every year.
Wow.
About 3.5 million put on drugs. Okay, so if you've got all these kids put on drugs for ADHD, and you know they're going to cause weak bones, what's this going to do to our Army? They want to know. And the Army's funding this, so they're saying, hey, you know, when you get to be 19, 20 years old and you're a recruit or you want to join the military, now the Army and the military is having to look at it and saying, you're probably a risk if you've ever taken one of these drugs. So what's that going to do to us? You know, look, we have to think in medicine in America, and we don't, but we need to think 10, 20 years down the road, you know, as to what the consequences are of doing something like this. You know, and they mentioned all the drugs, you know, the Focalin, the Ritalin. I mean, they went right through it. Dexedrine, Strattera, Vyvanse. They mentioned all these drugs. And that's, you know, what we don't realize, or what the public doesn't realize sometimes, moms and dads, is that, okay, Junior and little Sissy's got a little problem with ADD. What is something that in their, something simple that we could change maybe in their diet?
A lot
or
of it's in the diet. I mean,
or like that.
We've had many people over the years come in, and you know, we tell them, okay, this is how you need to change the diet. A lot of them don't want to listen. They don't want to change their own diet, so they don't want to have to change their kids' diet.
True.
But the ones that do, I have them come back and say, man, we changed their diet, and 2 weeks after they were eating this way, the teacher said, what drug did you put them on? And they're like, there's no drug that we put up, because I mean, they're perfect. They're not, they're doing better in their schoolwork. They're concentrating better. They're doing what they're supposed to do. So, and you know, their parents will say, we didn't give them anything, nothing.
We took stuff away from them.
We took that,
yeah,
right, yeah,
I've
took the
had a
bad
few
stuff
that
away.
they weren't even on supplements. They didn't even take omega-3s. They just changed the diet. And the teachers want to know what drugs they put them on, because it changed their way of acting and thinking that much in that short amount of time. So diet change is the first thing, and that doesn't, and people say, well, I can't afford to take the supplements. Well, you know what? You can afford to change the diet.
Very
I think
simple.
you have
Very
to.
simple,
I think in
right.
the future, if you don't change the diet, it's going to cost a whole lot more.
True. 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. It is Open Line Monday, so whatever questions you might want to have regarding your health, please feel free to call in. We will be right back. And welcome back to our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy with Doctors Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition on Cowan Road in Gulfport, south of Pass Road. It is Open Line Monday, and Kathy from Gulfport is on the phone with us. Good morning, Kathy. What's your question for the doctors?
Well, good morning, doctors.
Morning.
I'd like to know, I need to come by and have my blood work done.
Okay.
Okay.
And doing that, do I need to fast? If so, how long? And does it include black coffee in the morning?
Okay.
That's important.
You cannot do your coffee,
No black
unfortunately.
coffee, because they've actually found that they used to say black coffee was okay, but now they're saying that it does affect the triglycerides some as well, even with just being black and the cholesterol. So we tell people no black coffee and fast 12 hours. We like a 12-hour fast instead of 8. So we open at 10. If you're going to come in at 10, stop at 10 o'clock the night before, and you can have all the water you want. So water is good.
Oh, hooray. Thank you.
Okay,
You
thank
bet.
you.
See you, Kathy.
And of course, you know, the great thing about it too is you do blood work Monday through Friday.
Yes.
And that's between 10 and 5.
Well, no, actually, we they pick up our blood around 2 to 2:30.
Okay.
So yes, we actually don't do blood. We're open those times, but we actually
Okay.
don't do the lab work. And then just to let people know, this Friday and next Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we will not be drawn at our office. We can still send you to the lab in Gulfport to have draws, but our nurse is on vacation.
Oh, is she?
She's going snow skiing.
Oh.
Yeah.
So she is on vacation. So, but she's
And,
there.
and Brooke will brag that she is the best sticker in the world.
She's
when
good.
it
Yeah,
comes
she's
to,
good.
when it
She's
comes
very
to,
good.
to
But
taking
Monday
blood.
through
So,
Thursday this week, we will be there to draw in our office. But otherwise, I mean, we can still send you to the lab. So, I mean, that,
Right.
you can come the day before, get your
And you don't
order.
need an appointment.
And,
No,
and you
no,
can go the next morning, and they open at 8. So some people go there anyway because they open a little earlier than we do.
Yeah, because you might not want to fast that long, but
Right.
still.
Right.
Anyway, okay, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. You mentioned something in our last little break there, our last little segment. One of the things that they can really increase a lot, which we have natural down here. Omega-3s are fish oils,
Right.
You know, and which is you know, is great for you.
Yeah. You know, and you know, when we look at the American diet, it's so high in omega-6s. And you know, what is omega-6s? Okay, your corn oil, you know, things like that, safflower oil, your all the various cooking oils,
All
your
the
peanut
a
oils,
lot of
and
the
so on.
vegetable oils
Yeah.
are omega-6.
Those are omega-6s, and they're pro-inflammatory. You know, they actually increase in inflammation in the body. And so what you want to do is go to different cooking oils, a little bit more some of the saturated
That was going to be
fats.
my question. Is there a better oil to cook with? I mean,
Certainly.
I cook with extra virgin olive oil.
That's
all the
one.
And
time.
that is okay.
That is a
'cause
good one.
That's
Okay.
an omega-9.
Okay.
Okay, and omega-9s are okay. The omega-6s are what are real high in the American diet. Now, on the omega-9s, there is also another one. I just got some myself. I hadn't used it a lot yet, but the macadamia oil nut, because it can go to higher temperatures to where the olive oil can't.
Right.
Okay.
And so
And it's got a
macadamia
look.
nut oil is something that you don't see a lot, but more reading I was doing, I was like, man, this is one of the best things you can cook with, but yet it's
Yeah.
hard to find because it costs a lot. It's expensive.
But the just changing what you cook with, you know,
Right.
can make a big difference.
And
you know.
also walnut oil, because it does have omega-3s.
Right.
Okay. Lee from Pascagoula is on the phone with us. Good morning, Lee. What's your question for the doctors?
I've had gastric sleeve surgery, and I have ordered Gene Pro off of off the internet because I can't find it in this area. Do y'all offer Gene Pro or a product like it?
Gene Pro. I'm not sure what that is.
It's straight protein.
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, we do have whey protein. We have pea protein. We have all the proteins.
Okay.
So yes, we do have a lot of different proteins, and none of them have the sugar that it's sweetened with. It's all sweetened with stevia, because that way it doesn't give you the high glycemic index. So yes, we do have all kind of proteins. It's
And
just
we
maybe
have-
not that brand.
And we have actually something that we have for folks like yourself, Lee, is it's a powdered multi. So if you're
Right.
making a shake, you can put it in there, and you get your multivitamin in with your protein shake.
Okay.
Yeah, really good.
Thanks for the call,
Maybe
Lee.
it'll make it easier.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
it does. Makes it a lot easier, right?
Thanks.
I had a caller call in and leave the question. Gout. How do you get rid of it?
Die. I mean, that's the
No.
only way you're going to get rid of it.
Well,
I mean,
you can
'cause-
control it. Now,
you can control it,
You
but
can
to get
control
rid
it.
of it, you're going to die.
people that
Yeah.
have gout tend to be genetically predisposed to it. So
Yeah.
you're actually going to still have that genetic predisposition. Now, you can definitely help changing the diet. Diet is one of the big things, but it's a little bit different than the diet that
Oh, it is.
because you can't do as much of the protein, and you can't do the meats and the seafood, and there's foods, and even asparagus. People don't think about that. Even
Yeah.
asparagus is real high in uric acid. So you have to lower the uric acid, the purine foods that turn to uric acid.
And
I should
beer's
say.
one of the worst.
Beer is one of the worst things you can do for
And
gout.
asparagus. So if you had beer and asparagus, you're in bad trouble.
I don't
and
like
then-
either one, so I'm all
then
right.
Throw in some chicken livers, and you know you've had
Well,
it.
actually,
you know.
we see a lot of people in this area that come by when they went to the casino buffets and they're eating the crab legs. And
Right.
normally, crab legs are we think, is a part of a good diet. I mean, you can eat the crab legs,
Yeah.
but if you have gout and you eat those crab legs, it's going to flare it up. So number one is to change your diet. We do have something called uric acid formula, which is a formula put together to help get rid of purines from the body, which is the problem that you have. People have a genetic predisposition to not be able to get rid of them properly.
Right. It's a genetic thing,
And
so-
so we have some stuff that does help. So,
Okay.
and things that are natural anti-inflammatories help as well. But on people that even have gout, you have to be careful with like even fish oil, because some of the fish oils can even flare up gout because it is in the seafood family. So you do have to be careful with gout.
Very.
I have throw out a question for you because I know a friend of mine that has a problem with this, has had for a long time. Rosacea.
Yeah.
Really bad rosacea. Is there
Yes.
something that
Yes.
a dietary change or something that this person can take?
Well, yes, we use olive oil. Olive oil does wonders for rosacea. We have people that's come in that's had rosacea their whole life, and it completely just about gets rid of it. I had rosacea when I was young.
It's typically an immune type
Yeah,
response.
and it's a lot of times it is the immune system. So working with the immune system, and a lot of the medical treatment a lot of times is antibiotics.
Right.
To where of course olive oil is a natural antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, antiparasite, and it can be safely taken long term without the problems of taking long term antibiotics. So it is something that we found worked
Yeah.
best, and definitely rosacea tends to be an inflammatory problem.
Right.
So getting off of the grains and the sugar does help that as well.
And even the foods like the nightshade foods,
Yes.
you know, your potatoes, peppers, tomatoes,
Yeah.
you know, the nightshade family of foods. They will
Yeah,
also.
I know they always had a problem whenever they ate tomatoes.
Yes.
Oh,
It
yes.
really
It's gonna-
flares
well,
up.
it's gonna flare
Nightshade
it up.
plants do increase inflammation. So unfortunately, even though tomatoes are not high in sugar, they do increase inflammation. So you do have to look at what's going on in each individual to see what diet's best for them. But they do need to stay away from nightshades, grains,
Yeah,
sugar.
Unfortunately.
Okay. 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. It is Open Line Monday. We always do this the first Monday of the month and take your questions about anything regarding your health situations, or whether it be you or a loved one or something that try to help you out, better your life, because that's what this show is all about. Healthy living, to live healthy and be healthy. So a lot of I'm sorry.
There's a question that come up too, is how much does olive oil cost? Olive oil cost is $33, or our olive oil is
Yeah.
a stronger olive oil, and it's $33 for 90. And usually with rosacea we do about 4 days, so it lasts about 24 days. So it ended up costing about $40 a month to take the dosage that we say for rosacea.
But,
That's right.
But there you go. Okay. So again, call in with any health-related questions today, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. We'll be back with this week's special in just a moment. And welcome back. It is our Monday morning live edition of Healthy Living South Mississippi. Live healthy, be healthy with Dr. Jim and Janine Fox of Doctors Nutrition. They're located on Cowan Road in Gulfport, just south of Pass Road. They're open 10 to 5 Monday through Friday and 11 to 2 on Saturdays. Jim and Janine are there Monday, Tuesdays, and Thursdays, and Dr. Mays is there on Wednesdays and Fridays. And you do not need to have an appointment to go see them. And the consultations are absolutely free. We have someone call in. What is your opinion on knee replacement versus stem cell injection?
Well, it depends on the severity of the problem, really. I mean, I think that's something you talk to your surgeon with, the orthopedic guy. And typically, most of them are pretty cautious about wanting to have to do a replacement. If they see something it's not too bad, perhaps we can do some, injections and maybe save the joint.
If you're catching it early enough.
Right.
I mean, if you catch something early enough, I think the stem cells probably could work. I've seen some people get some good results with stem cells.
And we've
I've
seen
even,
we've seen people get knee replacements and do extremely well too.
And a lot of times the knee replacements, when it's bone on bone, a lot of times it's hard to
Can't turn
recover
things
from that.
around.
It's hard to turn it around. So it just really depends on the case and it depends on the person. So I talk to both, and get more than one opinion. Talk to the orthopedic that does the knee replacement, talk to the people that do the stem cells, because it's usually two different people. And then maybe even get a third opinion. But you have to take, your information together to decide which one's best for you.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for your call, 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Our phone lines are open to you. This is our last little segment this morning. You want to talk about the special?
Yeah, well, let's do that. On our special this week, and of course, it's coming up. I mean, hey, it's getting warm. It's bathing suit type weather. So for that extra pound or two you're trying to kind of help get rid of, a compound that we use a lot is called CLA, or conjugated linoleic acid. And what it does is helps you especially burn the fat around the midsection. And it works really well.
Sign me up.
Sign me up, right?
Really.
And then the other one is called Carb Down. And what Carb Down does, it's a carb blocker. It's the white kidney bean extract. So, we're all going to probably get a little too many carbs here and there. And take this with your meals. It helps block the carb intake.
Yeah, we always recommend lowering the carbohydrate intake. But if somebody is going to go out and eat or do something where they're going to have more carbs, then taking it actually blocks part of what you eat.
Yeah.
And it's not detrimental. Neither one of them are stimulants. Neither one of them increase blood pressure.
Actually,
and they both are good for diabetes.
Yeah.
So, I mean.
And the CLA's really got some interesting research on how it being it is an omega-6, but it's one of the beneficial omega-6s. So you get some good out of it, and it's actually shown some benefit for the heart and everything else. I mean, it's got some really good qualities.
Yeah, we thought those just because it's coming up on summer.
It's bathing suit weather,
Quick.
folks.
Yep.
I mean, we hit the spring fast this year.
Yeah,
We
we
never
really
had
did.
winter.
Well, look at all the people that are, getting these spring colds all of a sudden, or coughing. I mean, I've had that little cough for a couple of weeks now, and
Guess what
which
we're
is just
talking
about over
next
it.
week?
What?
Allergies.
Allergies. Oh.
What else?
Okay.
We figured with pollen everywhere.
Well, and my wife's got it bad.
Next week, that's what our subject's going to be.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All
Yeah,
right. So that way you can, try to get a leg up on it.
Yep.
And,
And
Yeah, I mean, that's it. Trying
And
to
just
get ahead
like
of
always, losing weight and getting those few pounds off, we always recommend changing the diet, always first. And there is no magic pill, but the CLA and Carb Down can help. I do have people that say that last little bit, and I needed to, something to little jump start me a little bit. It does help.
Okay.
It really does, yeah.
CLA. Okay.
Yep.
Keep that in mind
Yeah.
for that.
Well, it used to be real high in the American diet. CLA, grass-fed beef has a lot of CLA.
Okay.
Even milk used to have a lot of
used
CLA.
to have
in it.
CLA. And as the feeding of the animals have changed, the CLA content has went way down, almost non-existent. So people
Well, I mean,
used
look
to
at us
get
now
CLA.
as compared to 20, 30 years ago. I mean, we have more of an obesity problem
Right.
nowadays
Sure
than we
do.
used to.
Yep.
Caller says she has short bowel syndrome. Green veggies make her sick. What can she do?
Well, she's probably
digesting them
she's not
properly.
digesting very well. So okay, you'd want to go back to the digestive tract and do some things like number one thing, probiotics. That's the number one thing. The number two thing is the actual digestive enzymes
Yes.
themselves. That would probably, it may take a while, but if you fix the digestive process, you can fix that
Yeah,
because
because believe it or not, the green veggies are hard to digest. I
They
mean,
really
some
are.
of the foods that are really good for you actually are hard to break down, especially lettuces, and
Yeah.
especially when it's not cooked. Now, if you cook the green vegetables, it actually
Like
makes
cabbage
it
or
easier
something.
to
Cabbage,
digest.
collards, things
it
like that,
It
yeah.
does make it easier to digest. So cooking also. Now, of course, you don't want to cook them to death because you destroy some of the nutrients, but then they are easier to absorb.
Well, you try to get your nutrients out of vegetables and stuff, so as best you can.
Okay.
So I don't know, maybe
Yeah.
beans or peas or something like that.
Well, yeah, and this caller also said something about having a malnourishment problem. Back to the digestive enzymes. I mean, those things are going to be so critical for a patient like that. It's just
Yeah, because
unbelievable.
when you know you can't absorb certain foods, there's no doubt you're not getting the nutrients out of the foods either.
Yeah,
And even
you're
the
gonna-
foods that you think you absorb properly, you might not be getting the nutrients out of the food. So digestive enzymes are essential for someone with a problem like this.
And for goodness sakes, don't take something like Nexium or something these over the counter acid reducers.
If you're doing the
You're just
acid
gonna
reducers, you're going to
totally blow
stop
it,
the
yeah.
nutrient absorption from the gut too. So you do have to look at that as well. But the digestive enzymes, we see people that have malabsorption problems, and it definitely makes a difference. And it also makes a difference to take good quality nutrients. Because we see it all the time, meaning
Right.
people that are iron deficient from malabsorption problems, and if they're taking the wrong form of iron, it still doesn't get absorbed.
Right.
But when you give them a good form of iron, they can absorb it.
Okay. 896-0713, 800-349-0713. Willie is on the phone with us with a question right now. Good morning, Lily. Lily, excuse me. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How are
What can
you,
I do for
Lily?
you?
You got a question for the doctors?
I have a question, ma'am. I know I'm visiting Gulfport, Mississippi right now. I'm from Louisiana.
Okay.
I'm watching right now the show, and I said, look, let me ask something that, I just celebrated my 68th birthday last Saturday.
Okay.
Happy birthday.
Funny, because every year I go to my, my primary doctor once a year for the routine. And I'm healthy. I call it that I'm healthy for my age. The only thing, my problem is my name. Now my problem, this is my second year that when I went to see her, she always told me I have a high cholesterol and the borderline of my sugar.
Okay.
I said, then she gave me a restriction that she said you have to stop eating rice.
Right.
Without
You have to
wheat.
change your diet a little bit,
Yeah.
Lily. Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't, as a Filipino, I don't eat hardly rice.
How do you? Okay.
Yeah.
We got about 30 seconds, Lily.
Yeah, Lily, I think the best thing for you to do, because we can't get into this in 30 seconds. If you have a chance, call the store later today. The number's on the screen
Yep.
here, and right down here.
If you
And
leave your name and number,
yeah.
we'll definitely call you back today.
or come by.
And your age, 68, is young, isn't it, Jim?
Right.
He'll
This
be
is true.
68 Thursday.
All right. Hey, nice. We'll see you again next week. Have a great weekend or week.